I would like to call upon Karen's higher self, please.
Hello, I'm here with you.
Thank you very much. Can you tell me what's happening to the body and balance it in perfect harmony?
Yes, she's having a little pain through her legs. Um, I'll contribute that to some yard work that she did. That, of course, will work your muscles in different ways. That will go away. Just some stretching and walking. If she would involve herself in that, that'll take care of it pretty quickly. Other than that, she's in really good shape health wise. I don't see anything that's bothering her emotionally either. Her chakras are still lined up. So she's good to go. And we'll continue to scan. If we find anything, we'll go ahead and adjust that.
Fantastic. Great. I love that. Um, so we have some questions for you today, and one of them being, she's very curious why she has not seen a spaceship.
Actually, she has. She just did not focus on it long enough for it to do any maneuvers. So she didn't see the movement and just considered it another star in the sky. So she has seen them at night. If she would spend a little more time observing instead of scanning the whole sky and trying to see everything at once, she would see that we are there. And I guess if that's just what she's needing for confirmation, she'll listen back to this and practice observing just sectors of the sky at a time. And she will find that um, what she's hoping to see will be found.
Oh, nice. Okay, good. And I'm assuming her intuition's very good at this point, and so when she looks up at the sky, she will know exactly what she's looking at, even though her eyes visually will not show her a little being waving down at her.
Exactly. That's funny. But they definitely move differently than airplanes, so that's easy to spot. Even the satellites move differently in the sky. They're quite a bit slower. We can hover and present ourselves as just another star. If we place ourselves perfectly, you wouldn't even be able to tell us from another star that belongs in any given constellation. That's why we're telling her or advising her to observe for just a little bit longer certain sectors of the sky instead of trying to scan it all at once. And you will find your answers. You will see us.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. Have you ever tried to suddenly appear and expose expose yourself to her out of curiosity? And if not, would you consider it?
We have not tried to gain her attention through that method. Um, I don't see the need to actually make that type of contact with anybody. Generally, when we're filmed or spotted, it's purely by accident that the human that is reporting it witnessed us. But we have never, for the sake of just proving ourselves to anyone, went out of our way to do so.
What if you viewed it as not being proving yourself to someone, but as in introducing yourself to someone? Would you be able to give her a sense now of even what you would appear like if you were to present yourself to someone?
We have introduced ourselves through telepathy and not acrobats in the sky. I know that she has felt us profoundly in that manner. I think it would just be fun for her to see us or a spacecraft in the sky. The connections that we've made through telepathy, she's really cherished and enjoyed. And I'm feeling from her that if she had a choice, she'd rather that type of introduction or communication continue.
Okay. Well, we don't want to overstep the boundaries and have an awkward encounter if it's not as either of you feel appropriate. That is cool. I fully get that. And out of curiosity, if you did, I'm not too sure, even like project yourself, is it possible if she had chosen to, for you to project yourself as maybe, is it a hologram in like her living room when she like invites you in? Is that kind of connection possible if it's using both of your free will in agreement?
We can project energy. It wouldn't be in a image, but you can feel the energy and you almost get a glimpse of it. That's why when people see things out of the corner of the eye and it's in a mass or shape, it's the energy that is around them. And energy, of course, can be in any shape or size. But when they see that, a lot of humans automatically go to that presumption that it's an entity, it's a ghost, it's an alien, and it would be the third one. It would be alien to them, that type of energy and how it's manipulated.
I'm wondering if people assume that you could just like from Star Trek teleport yourself into our living rooms, have a conversation, and then you know move on. It's curious to me what people feel like they need to have uh, connections with you, even though in these sessions we're constantly talking to you. Um, it's that next step that some people feel like they need to have.
That type of technology is available, but there are certain rules and regulations about contact. We can only influence so much. Even if we are invited into somebody's home, it would it's not standard for us to perform that type of parlor act. I guess if there was a great need, a great need to visit someone in the physical, it can be done. But we prefer not to enter into the density that your planet offers. So we communicate from afar. We can send images to your visually to your brains, and they can interpret what we're trying to show you. We can send the energy, and you can feel it and sense it and see it. But as physically coming down here, our collective, we don't practice that. It's very unusual for us to do that. There are other races that do enter into your atmosphere. They their agendas are totally different than ours, of course. Mostly who they've introduced themselves to after observing your culture is the humans that seem to have the control. And those are the ones they will approach because they want something. But as for a citizen of Earth just wanting to find out more, it's probably not going to be something that happens on a regular basis. It could be out of curiosity. You might be the only farmhouse in 50 miles, and a being can stumble across you because there are crafts that can hover quite close to the surface of Earth, and they can scan heat signatures and know what type of animal or creature that is in the area. And a lot of the other beings that do that, they are always looking for the humans because humans are also a soul and a light being, just in a different vessel. And sometimes they like to just have fun and play around with you. Um, there are some out of curiosity, they will learn your habits, and they do they do this for their own collectives to learn more and for their own lessons, I guess you could say. So there are a lot of reasons that there are people that have been contacted. This vessel's not one of them. The collective that she mainly has contact with, and then also her team, there hasn't been any need for any of this to occur with her.
Fantastic. Understand that. Thank you. Thank you. Really fascinating. There was a question regarding New Earth from someone within our group who really wanted to know why, or actually, her concern was, what if New Earth just goes bad, like this current Earth? We did have a bigger conversation about it, but I think this is probably something that many people are questioning and wondering, and I'd love your perspective on that, please.
One thing that protects the concept of what happened here reoccurring again on New Earth is it is in a different universe and it's in a different dimension. Those two ingredients alone don't support the negativity that occurred here. The beings that were able to manipulate this planet cannot, well, they do not know where the new Earth is. They will never know where the new Earth is, and they aren't developed enough to manipulate the 5D in that manner. And the universe that it was placed in, we ensured that its neighboring planets and the beings would support what we were co creating with nothing but love and good intentions. So, with the new Earth and the soul that will enter into that planet and support all the inhabitants, we have set it up to where many beings are welcome. It can be a school of learning, developing into your next roles and your higher dimensions that you want to reach. And it can also be a therapy or relaxation planet for the souls that need a little time out for themselves, so to speak. So we've tried to think of all aspects to not replicate the experiments and experiences that happened here on this planet Earth. Does that give you reassurance that when you reach this new destination, you will be safe and comfortable?
Absolutely. I think most people do know that, but I think it was just good to have that clarification in one of their sessions, um, just so anyone that is worried that it will, that the cycles will repeat, this is not the case here.
There are other 3D planets that are similar to the experiences here on Earth, and there are beings that have contracted to go to them to finish up their own learning, and they're contracted to do so because that's what their higher self and their soul wanted. So those souls will have a different destination. They won't be going to New Earth right away or if ever, because once they master what they want to, they could actually move on to a different realm entirely and experience and grow in a different direction than what you have chosen. So you might have neighbors that you have a lot in common with right now, but once you leave this environment, you, you two could have totally different interests. I guess it would be almost like going off to college and having different courses that you want to master. It will be the same once you leave this 3D Earth. You will separate, or you could go together. It's already been decided by you before you even got here. Unfortunately, you don't have that information, so it's all in anticipation, and I think that's where a lot of the, not anxiety, but maybe impatience comes from. Everybody is so curious to start the new path that they know lies ahead of them. Um, it won't be that much longer. I know you've heard that so many times, but enjoy the extra days that you have here. Like I mentioned, you may never see the person you're sitting next to again after this experience stops. So enjoy what you have and hold on to it, and you'll have your memories and you'll have your experiences.
Absolutely. Yes, appreciating everything that there is right now is probably the most wisest choice for approaching and appreciating what we do have. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So once Earth and humanity is liberated, what will other planets that are in negativity feel this freedom as well?
Yes, the energy that's here, and it kind of rules the atmosphere and what you experience on a daily basis, it will be transmuted and sent back to source. That alone will will, how do you describe this? It's like sweeping the floor and emptying your dustpan and carrying it out to the trash. Everything's clean, and the objects, which will be other planets around it, experience the freshness and the dust that's gone. And I know I'm getting way off track trying to explain this, but it's a very positive response with other nearby, the neighbors of Earth, what they will experience. It actually will help the collectives. They won't have as much work to do either on supporting these planets that have been affected by the negativity that existed. Once it's removed, of course, all the other planets that are experiencing this will they will benefit from it, and so will their inhabitants. Their growth will be less of a struggle. I just feel like I got so off path there. Did you get your answer out of that?
Yes, I think what happened is that you were just tapping into all that are being affected by this planet right now, that's off planet. So I think that's what you were trying to account for. I've had so many regressions where people are having these super wonderful, happy lives, and then the negativity from Earth is leaching out and impacting so many that it's destroying, not destroying, but it is impacting their lives in a real negative way, even across the universe. And so it makes sense that once this chapter, this planet has been resolved, that this would stop impacting and rippling out to so many in such a detrimental way.
Yes, you're absolutely correct about all of that. The vessel was seeing too many planets at once that have been affected by the negativity, and they all had their own problems and shared the same problems. It was very hard to distinguish which one would benefit the most, but in the end, they all benefit.
Yeah.
And also, the crystals that have been used to support Earth, they can start benefiting from those finely honed energies, and that will escalate the quality of life that's on each and every planet out there. It, I know you've used the term yourself as a ripple effect. It's going to be kind of like in reverse. All the negative energy that was emitted out will somehow focus itself back towards Earth, almost like it's being sucked back towards that source of negativity. And then it will be, like I said, sent to source, transmuted.
I love that. All of the energy is then coming back and then in plate imploding on itself. I guess that's how I sort of vision how they're going to do the work to clean up, is like turning itself inside.
And that's a collapsing or imploding is a very good way to describe it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Is is it possible to belong to more than one collective, and what would support this status?
Yes, you can. Most bec- most beings become attached. It's a bad word. Loyal to one collective and support it solely. They focus on that work, and because there's many collectives and they have different assignments. Some could be just support. Some could be co-creating. Some can be explorers or observers. So there's a lot of different collectives, and you can belong to more than one, but it's generally not more than one at a time. It would not be beneficial because I see that you're very focused in a different dimension. All your love and experience that you want to absorb is very focused.
Mm. I notice lots of light workers want to introduce themselves as being certain star seeds, and it's like they're not able to focus on their human life and honor their role as being human. What is the approach we should be taking with this?
I know that labels are very passionately sought after here on Earth. Um, some are more favorable than others. But while you're here, the collective you're in is humanity. And there is such a thick veil that even if you were a volunteer and came here from another planet, right now you're human. So that's your focus. And that might be a better way to describe belonging to one collective at a time. You could have been with another collective before you got here. You could have been with 10 other collectives before you got here. But right now you're in humanity's collective, and that's where your support goes to. Everything that you put out or everything that you take from comes from that collective.
Mm. It feels like still humanity is not evolved enough to see and include all. They still want to have separation, regardless of whatever star seed system you are. And it's like they're trying to make themselves unique, different. It's so interesting because they can't have full inclusion. It still has to be exclusion somehow.
They were all brainwashed and, and taught the lines of separation at an early age, whether it been race, religion, even the color of your skin or hair can separate you out of a group or include you in a group. People take pride in how they were supported or cheered on. I don't know how to put that, when they were younger. Those are the things that they attach to themselves that make them feel better about themselves. So if somebody thinks that coming from Mars makes you a better person because that's the starseed you are, or let's say you're a Pleiadian and okay, so now I have a higher status. But while you're here, you're human and everybody is in the same collective. Once you leave this realm and you travel to another collective, then that's what you become again, that collective.
Yeah.
And that's where your honor and your love and all your support goes to, is that collective.
Yeah. Yeah. So intriguing. So thank you so much. I really appreciate that. It was explained before that timelines can split, then merge again for the reason of growth opportunity. Can it be said that this extended growth will add to the collective faster? How does humanity benefit from this?
Yes, we did have a discussion before about timelines splitting. So you as a human could have beneficial growth. You could have um, 3 or 4 experiences going on this timeline, 2 or 3 on the other. So you get more experiences while you're here. And right now that's important because there's a lot of contracts that are still out there that need to be fulfilled. So splitting timelines has become common right now. That is one way it benefits the collective and humanity. They do all merge back into one. That, of course, will happen as soon as you are out of this 3D realm.
Okay. And in terms of different timelines, is there importance and significance for you to tell us what timeline we currently are at, given the fact that they can change all the time?
When they split, it's only sometimes a slight variation to go pick up the the lesson that you may have missed. It's not really backtracking, but it's like taking a side road. You get your lesson and then you can come back on and merge. So there is one main timeline, and then there's looks like there's 4 more that are we'll call them secondary. So one primary and possibly up to 4 secondary timelines that support it. But the main one is the one you're conscious on. Then I've lost your question. I got really sidetracked there.
Well, that's what would happen if you're looking into 4 different or 5 different timelines. So it was just, I'm curious to know about our future timeline, but then also asking, when they change all the time, is it even really possible for you to factor in all of the future movements of us moving forward?
Everything is I know you've heard it's a game or it's a play. And in the end, nothing even matters. I know you've heard that quote too. It does all matter. It is all for experience. Even when you separate from the main timelines and you venture out and you gain more experience, it's like collecting coins in a video game. You go and you pick them up, and then you get back on your path to the end goal. It is all I'm downplaying it, and I'm sorry to do that. It is all very important. Even each and every timeline that you have visited, you straight off, you did what you had to do and you came back. And all the experience does go to the collective. It all goes back to source as well.
Fantastic. It just reminded me of a last session we did with Karen where you were saying she had, I can't remember the exact words, but it was more like she has more things to overcome in her near future. And I was really curious because I'm pretty much nosy, what you were referring to with that.
Well, there will be maybe a spoiler alert here. Um, she is she is experiencing different relationships at different levels, different layers. Um, she has two daughters that are totally different in personality. Um, they both demand attention from their mother. They're not entirely jealous, but there is some resentment that they both share. She wants to try to help them mend their relationship, but she knows it's actually on them to do so. Coming up in the near future, she's going to be visiting a daughter that lives in a different city. Part of what she's going to have to overcome is learning to help, but from a distance. In the past, she was always played Miss Fix It and would fix what she thought she was doing is fixing problems for her children. But a lot of times it actually made the wounds fester more. So that's one of the lessons that she will definitely be overcoming in the very, very near future. Past that, um, traveling home, there might be a bit of a journey that she's not expecting. And I can't see all of that at this time, so I cannot share that.
Okay, thank you. And we all know that Karen profoundly loves both of her children, so we all know that the reason why she's trying to help them is to help them. And sometimes we have to learn that our help is not the most helpful. Um, and she understands that. So thank you for letting us know that for her moving forward.
Yes, but that will be not her biggest lesson, but it's definitely one that she's going to have to learn to let people learn their learn their own, I guess, responsibilities. They've leaned on their mom for so many years that now it's time for her to step back and watch them develop into their own um, adult decision making, loving people that they're supposed to be or can be. They are living beings just like everybody else. And I know it's their contract to be this way, and they just she needs to step back and let them live it out.
Which then leads me to the question, what is going to be her biggest learning lesson then?
One of her biggest learning lessons will be letting go of attachments that she's grown fond of. And those attachments are humans, people, people that she's lived and shared her life with. They, it's one thing about this planet, even though it has heavy energy, humans seem to develop great attachments to one another. So when it's time for a separation or a departure, they take it very hard. We take it very hard. This vessel takes it very hard. So that's going to be one of her harder lessons is releasing the attachments that can't say will not serve her, but they won't be available to her later. It's going to be a tough separation, something that she will mourn for a little while.
Okay. Does it help at all that she knows she's going to be leaving them on the new earth?
Definitely. That is a big reminder to her that when this planet was developed and put into existence, that all the love and support from so many collectives added to the existence. I know I've used that word again, damn. It, it's just, yeah, a marvelous place. It's not like any other nearby planets. This one has no bad juju yet. There's no history made here yet. So it's just a marvelous start for so many reasons. And humanity is very, very blessed and fortunate to be one of the very first species to inhabit this new brand new planet.
Yeah, very special. Very special. Okay, thank you so much. So we can send love and acceptance to all those people who are struggling to want to even be open to the separation of loved ones, knowing that we have to respect all contracts and experiences. And I know we know that, but at an emotional level, we still have to release those emotions.
Yes, it could be the closest person that you bared your soul to. And, well, I mean, it's going to be sadness to leave this because this has been your home for so long as well. Living on Earth, this is the only thing that we've known. This is home. And your heart was here, and your loyalty, and all your lessons, and your accomplishments, everything was here. And this will also be left behind. It is also an attachment that will be, it will be missed as well.
We take our lessons, our memories, our love and experiences, so nothing really is lost.
No, nothing is lost because you, like you said, you have access to all that. But the physical part of it doesn't exist anymore. You have the memories, and you can look up all the archives and history and relive it through that. But it's still not the same. And once you release the attachment, once in view all this history later, the feelings won't be as intense as you experienced them when it was firsthand and actually fresh.
Yeah, I understand. Thank you. It's all fascinating. Thank you. Thank you. For Karen, she repetitively sees the numbers 1222. And it's getting so frequent that she is now asking in a session, what the heck?
1222. It represents to her, we were trying to send her a message. It's not really a date, it's more of a time. And so there's like a time of day of 1222 that she needs to be aware of is coming up into her future. It's not a tragedy, but it's definitely something for her to take notice and prepare for. It's a little bit exciting. I'm not seeing a lot, it's being blocked. So whatever's coming up with representing that number, they want her to be aware of the number. And now she's being told it's the time because she was exploring that it could be possibly a date, but it's an actual time. And it looks, she was shown it was daylight outside. So that number is going to happen during the daylight hours where she lives. But the event itself, I'm not seeing, but it's nothing that she fears or should be afraid of.
I can imagine her getting a few emails asking what time zone she lives in.
Maybe so.
Okay, well, thank you, because that is intriguing to know she will understand that. Thank you. Because when we see these repetitive numbers, it does make us want to stop and question that. So thank you once again for giving her little confirmations throughout her day.
Yes, that's just another little nudge, letting her know that we're around all the time, and we quite frequently make her aware. She will look at a clock. She's seen it on sales receipts even, and that one really intrigued her the most. It's like, really,
Mm.
the price of this added up to $12.22. That's amazing. So
I guess when she shared this with us, we both were like, is this the year of the shift? Because
I'm seeing that you see 1221. You guys talked about this earlier.
yeah.
And that's the same. Forward is backwards. It's called a palindrome. Um, so forward and backwards, it's not really a rocking motion I see for you. It's almost a circle.
Well, the numbers I see the most is 808.
Which is also a palindrome. It's funny. And then you have the infinities on each end and the infinite in the middle. The circle.
Yeah, it's so intriguing. But I love that if we are being distracted with our 3D dramas, that there is always little signs to remind us get over ourselves, focus, be at peace, balance ourselves.
I can feel that everybody in your group has come such a long ways from the first sessions they've ever listened of yours to where they are now. They grown beyond even the hopes of themselves, and they should be very proud of themselves, each and every one of them. And
Absolutely.
they're all special, and several of you will be working with one another throughout your next adventures. So you won't forget each other. You have a connection.
Yeah, well, I'm really proud of all who does the inner work and can be honest and open and be responsible human beings for humanity. Like I love those people. So, I'm really grateful for having such an incredible bunch of beautiful friends. It makes my heart just sing with joy to know that there are good people out there.
Yes, and once you all go to your next destinations, what you're calling out inner work, it does not stop. You have experiences and you expand and you grow forever. That is a part of who you are, and being the light being and just the bigger beings, and you just expand and you become bigger with more knowledge and experience forever.
Hopefully there's a little holiday somewhere in between, because I think that's what we all kind of need at this moment in time. Especially, I think after the shift, I think everyone needs to have a little bit of a vacay.
That is one of the things that the new Earth will be supporting. That was a part of the plan. After the evacuation, that planet would be perfect. Although, like discussed in many of your sessions, contracts dictate differently, and some chose to go home, or some chose to go to another planet to finish out their learning.
Many of the homes that I've explored in sessions are fantastic. They are profound, amazing lifestyles on different planets. So I'm very happy for all who get to go home because, I deeply have compassion for them being here of service. So, I'm excited for all. There is still that heaviness of knowing that many still have to experience the old earth to be able to master that, to help effectively other future planets and civilizations and species. So it's a lot to still process. So I'm looking forward to everyone.
Yeah, the ones that volunteered and left their homes to come help, that was a very urgent call that was sent out. They answered and volunteered in love, knowing that it wasn't a selfish thought, but knowing that they would experience this on their own planets if the growth of this negativity wasn't stopped and supported. And they also wanted to support Gaia. That was I'm hearing like a very distressed cry, and it was so heartfelt. And the beings that picked up on this and did volunteer to come help, it was it saddened them, and they had so much compassion. They could not say no. They came here to help. They will be glad to return to their homes. They also, like I said, know when they return that their home planets are in a much safer state. What has happened here will eventually, it will be taken care of, because they won't be leaving until it is.
Incredible. Yeah. Just really sending profound love to all the third wave volunteers, because all of the sessions I've had with them is literally that. So I just want to hold space for the third wave volunteers and all the people who are here on this planet who are trying to help with this liberation, with much gratitude, and for them to be able to release anything that no longer serves them emotionally and physically and energetically, as they are advancing and expanding themselves into this role of their life missions and purposes here.
All their collectives have acknowledged, and they're receiving this, and they are actually sending this back to their home planets, and they're encompassing the earth with this love as well. So they're in gratitude for your kind words, and they're also very grateful for everybody here on this planet, whether they were from the collective. They're all like speaking together and working together right now, these collectives that I'm seeing. And that doesn't happen very often, where they support each other this closely. They usually only have just negotiations and agreements, but everybody's feeling the love, and they're sharing the love with each other, and they're passing it forward. So that's incredible.
Well, I love that. I really do love that. And very appreciative of all of the support we're getting, because it seems like there is a lot of pressure to get it right, to be of service.
Yes, there's been a lot of working parts and a lot of beings involved to make it as close to perfect as possible, to have as less of catastrophes. There Once this planet is gone, a lot of this stress goes away. I know that sounds terrible, but it's like throwing out an old pair of shoes. They're wore out. The shoelaces don't work anymore. The brand new pair are bought. They just need to be put on and broke in.
Mm.
And that's what we're waiting on.
What are we waiting on now for this shift? You know, I understand that there is many moving parts, but what can you tell us so we can have a bigger perspective of what are we waiting for?
There's so many collectives that have been involved here. There's still information, we'll call it, that some collectives still want to gather because that's growth for them. It's not that they're really being selfish about it, but it was agreed upon and they want it honored and they want to develop, into the beings that they want to become. It supports their species. If they leave too soon, they don't feel they'll ever have another chance. So Guy is trying to honor the contracts with these collectives so they gain the knowledge and experience they need to continue their growth. I also see that she can, and I know that you've been made aware of this before, but she can decide it's time for her. And no matter who is left wanting in the sense of finishing out their own personal contracts, it will be like, sorry, but I'm going, and now's the time. And if that does occur and the energies on the planet, I know people keep feeling the changes. It's not really her impatience, but it's her anticipation to move forward. She really does want to move forward. We as humans, we would tell these people that are lacking, too bad, Joe, it's time to go. But the bigger beings, the contracts and the negotiations and agreements they've made.
Okay. Do you get a sense of what specific collectives are still needing to expand on their growth and experiences here?
I'm not being shown the specific collective. And I feel their importance of what they want to gain from this, but I don't know what it is for sure. I get a strong sense that they came to the party late, and that's why they're behind. And they're holding everybody back.
And this is one of the collectives that would be shifting off, or are they staying?
They will be shifting off.
I see. Is there some representatives of that collective that want to come in and speak to us and give us an insight into their situation?
I don't think they want to do that. I see a black cloud. It's like it's being blocked. It's kind of funny. I'm sorry. It's making the vessel chuckle. It's like they don't want to be held accountable.
Declined. Okay, that's fine. We'll just send you love and healing anyway, and accept that it's none of our freaking business. So thank you for the. Okay.
Maybe one day they'll come in. We'll have to ask again.
What's the secret password? Okay. Yes, we will. And of course, we always want all the collectives to get everything that they need out of this experience. And we just trust that all the collectives are working really hard and having beautiful teamwork together to be able to see the bigger perspective. And we trust and rely that they're doing the best that they can, and understanding the impact of being in the 3D at this point in time, what that is doing to humanity as a whole.
Yes. And as you were speaking, I did get a vague message from the collective, even though they didn't really identify themselves. Their intent was they didn't mean any harm, and they still don't need any harm. So the intent wasn't malicious on the delay that they had. They
Mhm.
will try to, it's funny they said this, they will try to split off into more timelines and gather their experiences and information faster. And they'll hurry to the end and merge back in. That's what I see, rush, rush, rush. But they feel if they actually do it that way, it's not second best, but it's not the prime material that's needed.
Well, I think that's a very clever approach. So thank you for letting us know that we understand that, um, experiences are the most important thing here, and that there is no good or bad. And while we're all here, participating in this experience, we want to support each other. And who am I to try and hurry that along? So thank you, thank you, thank you. I trust all as well. Um, Out of curiosity, Karen, I wanted to experience more information about the details of the ship, inside the ship that she was going to travel to New Earth on. Is there any more information regarding this, or logistics of them traveling? What can you tell us? Spill all the beans.
I will. I know that you guys feel like you get things in bits and pieces, um, but shovelfuls sometimes drown you. So what we can show you today is there is holographic life also on the ships for those who find it comforting to revisit what Earth was like, or even to experience, like if you realize that one of your friends from Earth was from another planet and they want to share their home with you, they can do it through a holograph, and you can visit, let's say, Series B, and entertain, the cultures, and share, different information. You have the common link of being human. The ones that were on, came from different homes and planets. They can share their heritage. That's the word I'm looking for, heritage, with the other passengers if they see fit to do that. It's actually very good therapy. It will put your focus towards the future as opposed to from where you just came from. So that's one more piece that we're going to offer you today about traveling and how you can experience other people's homes.
Fantastic. Now, I'm assuming that Karen is traveling on an advanced ship, and most others will be sleeping and not even consciously aware of the journey to New Earth. Is that correct?
There are many of you, even amongst your group, that will be on the same ship. Um, all accommodations for comfort, whatever you find your comforts to be, from your Earth home or from a home prior, will provide it for you. I, I still see a lot of sharing of past traditions well before any of you entered Earth in those lives. You're going to focus more on, it's not really distracting yourself from what you just went through, but you want to place in front of you maybe a new adventure, we'll call it, and a new way of connecting with these old friends that you have.
I love
And
that.
yeah, it'll be it'll be fun and enjoyable and relaxing. It'll be like I can view it for Earth terms as going to a hunting lodge or a cabin and just enjoying nature and enjoying each other's company. I can compare it to that. That's what your journey will be like. And as far as Karen, she will not be like in a role. She'll still be shedding the 3D muck, just like all of you will be. So it will still be an enjoyment, and this transportation, this travel time, that's what I want to say, will be more relaxing than anything you've experienced here on Earth. It will be a great, what you're going to call vacation time for you to heal and to support each other profoundly, well beyond anything that you could have done here.
I love that. I love that. I'm so pleased to hear that. And it also sort of seems like we get, well, she gets like in-flight movies, sharing other people's lives, and home planet's experiences. What would her home planet experience be when what she's going to be sharing with others?
What I see from her is some of the foods that she enjoyed. She wants people to try them and taste them. I don't see a lot of volunteers because the food is totally different than what was on their home planets and on Earth, and everybody's still used to Earth food. So that's first and foremost in their minds. There are different games, strategic games I'm seeing that were very it it's a competitive thing as well. And she enjoyed those types of games and she wants to teach people those. Like I said, it's like a big summer camp almost. Everybody is sharing past experiences from Earth and before. There's a lot of laughter and a lot of love and a lot of healing. It's a very good opportunity to decompress from the Earth and lives that were led here. I don't see her treating herself any differently than any of the other passengers. She is amongst the crowd and really enjoying the healing. And that is the most relaxed many of these humans have been in eons. It's just wonderful the way it's turning out. And this is just the travel time.
Fantastic. I love that. Okay. And so I know that we are obsessed and addicted to time, but how long would she sense our time wise that she would be on this journey?
Sometimes it feels like forever and it will never end. And sometimes it feels like 5 minutes. Um, to relate it to the human brain, it's going to take about, I'm getting like 5 months. That's the number I'm getting for the particular ship that she's on to travel to the destination. And I see there's a couple of portals. It's funny that these portals are kind of referred to as pit stops. And it looks like they're going to hit three of them and it shoots you faster into another universe. And that's why they're used.
Are they dropping off certain people at homes?
No, this ship is going directly to New Earth. And from what I see and feel, but the portals are in each different galaxy or even a universe. And it's just like a shortcut to get to your destination that you use these.
Amazing. Amazing. I love it. Okay, thank you so much. So now I have my emotional water floaters on, so I'm not going to drown. So, what new information can you share with me now?
New information. There will be, it looks like another upcoming asteroid. No, meteor. It's not an asteroid. It's going to be a meteor that's going to come super close to Earth. It's not going to be noticed until it's like 3 or 4 days out. It's not going to give anybody in the science world time to prepare. They think that they can divert these objects, but they don't always get enough warning. I know that there's a lot of space junk out there, and they contribute, or they tell the public that that's what hit the International Space Station, or that's what took out a satellite, or that's what's entering your atmosphere. But a lot of times it's undiscovered space rocks that they didn't have information about, or they had not been monitoring it because they never discovered it until it was very close to the planet. That is maybe one that causes, but I don't see this happening before shift, what I'm seeing right now. After shift is going to be more devastation than before. There'll be a few things, but they've happened throughout time, such as the earthquakes, and volcanoes have been shooting off quite regularly lately. That will ramp up a little bit as well. It won't be in the ring of fire like expected. It'll be more dormant volcanoes throughout the world. Other than that, I feel like I'm being a doomsayer on new information. So let's prepare to be happy, enjoy everything that you have, whether it be a friendship, a dog, a brand new car. Treat it all as brand new, because when things are brand new, you love them more. It feels humans do that.
We can have a brand new attitude, and that would be fantastic.
I love the way you think. You crack me up.
It's all perspective.
Brand new.
Um,
If only they sold brand new attitudes.
the best thing is it's free and very trendy right now.
Awesome.
Okay, thank you. Nothing like a little bit of peer pressure to inspire, encourage, and motivate others. So then I do have some final questions. Why is it that only a lower percentage of humans can use, why is only a lower percentage of the human brain used?
It's not entirely true. It's more that scientists only understand a small percent of how the brain functions. And so when they write their papers, they label it as only 10% of the brain is used. But that's not true. They just don't know how the rest operates or functions. There's a lot of unmapped uncertainty for them. A lot of that is where you as a human, the brain is used for communicating with us. So that's your telepathy, your manifesting, your creativity. Yeah, that's more of the truth, closer to the truth.
You had me at scientists.
Oh,
Got it. Yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And then, does human emotions control the mind and the brain?
Yes and no. The brain supports the maintenance of the body, and your emotions, I will say loosely, supports the maintenance of your soul. They do work together. Your emotions override your brain. So the answer I'm going to give you is yes, the emotions control your brain.
Mm, yeah, yeah. Um, and we get to choose what emotions we want to experience and for how long.
Each and every person struggles with different emotions. It depends on their traumas and their life and their environment. It dictates a lot of when emotions surface first and foremost in their reactions, and sometimes the ego can get in the way with that as well. It's, it's a very big experience and learning process to overcome your emotions, and I'm not going to say train them, that sounds terrible, but to learn from them and control them.
Mm, yeah, yeah. Fascinating. And then, what can you tell us about this so-called junk DNA? What is the truth about all of that?
Again, scientists don't understand it, so they write it off as junk DNA and not needed. It is placed in the body for the function that it performs, is in perfect alignment. That DNA is was placed there to access, not the word, to support and um, streamline your upgrades. That's the word I want. It streamlines and it helps direct the upgrades that you receive.
Makes sense. It kind of makes me have this imagination image of scientists trying to explain and build a human, and then they've got all these leftover pieces, like when someone's doing like an IKEA kit set, and you have half a dozen pieces, and you're like, oh, that's just the junk. It's not necessary to include that
Right.
structure of things. So I get it. I thank you. I thank you. Okay. So how is Karen's body going? It's been a long session, I'm aware.
The vessel's very thirsty.
Mhm.
Other than that, she's doing fine.
Okay, cool. I'm just going to ask a private question, if I may. There is a person that is claiming that he has direct connection with Archangel Michael, and is saying that Archangel Michael is the leader of the archangels, and has a very strong opinion about that, and also this work. What can you tell me about this human who is projecting his belief systems onto me?
So the person in question is claiming to be like very good friends or has a great strong connection with Archangel Michael.
Yes, he is saying he's an ambassador. He is saying he's an ambassador to the archangels.
The human says this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I find that untrue. Archangel Michael has a lot of connections that he channels through on earth to get out messages. He supports a lot of people. He is a protector. The human, I think, has had contact with some of the archangels, Michael being one of them. It is not true that he's an ambassador. The human is on a different realm. That type of connection is impossible. So I don't think your friend is giving you honest information about himself or any of the archangels.
Well, he's got a following of 40,000 where he is telling them that Archangel Michael is the leader of the archangels.
Michael is very respected. These archangels don't view themselves as one better than the other. They all have their, we'll call it specialties. Some heal, some protect. They work together and they work separately. But I don't see a commander that like assigns missions or projects. They do support each other if one has more expertise or knowledge to help a certain situation. Michael's been around for a long, long time. And he, like I said, he's very respected. He's in high demand. A lot of people, humans, ask for his help all the time. And his fellow companions rely on him as well. But he also relies on them. They work as a team. And that's what I see with that.
Thank you. I was just trying to understand how is it that one human is so certain and so firm with their statement that Archangel Michael is the leader of the archangels. I would not believe. I don't believe for a second that Archangel Michael would state that or claim that he is the leader of them. So it feels like I'm just confused of where this agenda for this person is, who claims he wants to help humanity, but I'm also curious about his approach.
I feel from him a strong conviction in his beliefs. And like we know, there's no right or wrong. I don't feel that he's being malicious or that he's trying to mislead people. He firmly believes what he believes. It seems like he has charisma, and that's why people listen to him. I don't see a bad agenda for him saying that Archangel Michael is the leader, but I also don't see how that would benefit anybody with that knowledge. They're in service to all. It's not just this planet that they support. So it really doesn't make a difference. I'm more confused by why so many people would follow that that teaching this, or even want to, I don't know, follow a man that has beliefs that are, they're not really important. That part's not really important in the grand scheme of things.
I just find the titles very interesting. The leader of the archangels, the ambassador, the leader of the earth angels. Just feels like a lot of ego in there, and that's distracting from the message and the purpose and the agenda to help humanity, in my opinion. But maybe I'm being a judgmental bitch.
They answer to one, and that's source. They're more than angels to earth. Hopefully that will expand people's thinking, just knowing those two facts, that it goes beyond here.
Mm.
And they, like I said, they answer the source, just like we all do.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I was disappointed when when I had said that Archangel Michael had come into many sessions because he is attached to many of my clients. So for this one person to say that they've never listened to 1 minute of the sessions, but can tell us all in this group chat that Archangel Michael has never come into any of my sessions, really just did not impress me, with someone being so limited in thinking while still trying to be an ambassador to the Arcturians, to the archangels, and helping humanity. That kind of just disappoints me, that limitation of understanding of the concepts of the metaphysical world.
I don't see him an ambassador to any off planet species either. They would not rely on a human, one human, to speak for them. They come through, we know that the Octurians and the Pleiadians, they speak for themselves as well through channels, messages, and just discernment alone should tell these 40,000 people they have the power to be that ambassador if they wanted to, so to speak. But as far as Archangel Michael, and you have Metatron and Raphael and Gabriel, they've all been channeled and they all love connecting. They are of service, and all you have to do is ask them. That's available for everybody.
Absolutely. And not just a self entitled ambassador.
Exactly.
God, I feel like such a bitch. I'm just pissed off that this person is so close minded, and yet such an influencer. But then I feel like he's probably one of dozens and dozens and dozens that have this approach. And it's just, is it, I can't imagine it's impacting humanity in a negative way. It's just limiting humanity in a limited way.
All these slowly and more often than he thinks, his followers outgrow him and they move on. So it will take him a lot longer than the people that are listening to him to open up and realize. And yeah, they outgrow him and they surpass him before he realizes he needs to expand his thinking.
Is this why he has given himself this title of ambassador, to try and make him uh, more higher ranking than others, to kind of put is he disempowering others with that approach then?
Absolutely. Anytime that you want to make yourself better than the next person, you're trying to take away their sovereign being, and that definitely disempowers. So he's not really serving these people. I don't know what his messages are. I just know that, I mean, some people get titles through inheritance or elections or appointments, but he's appointed himself this title, it feels like. So that's less genuine and, to me, less convincing that he has any type of credibility. He's misleading these people, and they, like I said, they'll eventually use their intuition or discernment, and they will move on from him.
Mm.
That's part of their lessons, and they deserve to have them. So,
Stepping stones.
yes, ma'am.
Got it. Okay, because he also has a very firm opinion about the corruption of Ashtar, and I was wondering, has his bottom been smacked recently for him spreading more of that nonsense?
He, like many others that have come before him, they always learn in the final moments, it seems, what the truth is, and they accept it. Um, I don't know how he can be an ambassador to a race and then turn around and condemn one of their leaders, commanders, unless he wants that role for himself. And that's kind of what I feel the that he wants the commander role of something. So he's just pulled the name of Ashtar to the front because it's prominent in a lot of people's learning, it seems like. And he likes to connect with people as well. So he's being used in the reverse to promote this other guy. So he's slandering his name to promote himself. That's the best way I can put it.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Okay, well, this is fantastic insight. Thank you very much. And as we all know, we must go within and use our own intuition and connect into our own spiritual teams to get the truth. And anyone that has heard gossip about other high dimensional beings who have true help for humanity, if we are hearing something that we're not too sure about, instead of trusting blindly other people's hidden agendas of ego and bullshit, we actually go within and check in with ourselves. What is the bigger purpose and information here? And stop relying on other people's information, especially when it comes to slander of other high dimensional beings who are working bloody hard to help humanity. I think it's arrogant. I think there's so much I am wanting to say without swearing my head off. But, you know, we're all learning here, and I appreciate the triggers to be able to see how and why humanity has got so out of control.
And I'd like to add to that, each and every being on this planet has the ability to find the truth. Even this person that's promoting what he thinks is the truth, and maybe he even knows it's not. But we all have the ability within us to ask our teams, or even ask these higher beings, what can you tell me about you? Ask Ashtar, tell me something about you. He will give you even a feeling, and you'll know just by that the misinformation that is being spread.
It's almost like they're trying to create a boogeyman or a demon out of Asher in his name. And it's like almost the equivalent of people wanting to discuss or think about Lucifer. Supposedly, you know, that's the big bad monster. And then for a lot of these big light workers who should know better, who should ask within themselves, they're relying on nonsense from others to be misled. And they're using that as the truth for their foundations of understanding things. I think it's just, ugh.
I see lots of layers and levels of understanding and lessons with this type of gossip. It's also going to promote distrust when we are actually finally getting ready to shift or move forward. There's going to be a tiny bit of distrust. So I can see that as a bit of a distraction. People need to learn now where to put their hearts and where to put their trust. Right now, you have the opportunity to reach out and investigate through your inner self and your team. Find the love, feel the love, and you will know the truth.
Absolutely. I feel like it just distracted me a little bit by some of other people's nonsense. So I'm just going to release that now and just accept it all and trust that everything is stepping stones to moving forward, and hoping that, you know, I know everything as well. It's just, you know, someone said the term that they want to divorce the New Age movement, and in some regards I fully respect and understand that. I would like to divorce myself from the bullshit, with much love to all. You know, I just think we all as humanity should be so much more intuitive, that we should just see this nonsense screaming out to us. And I do feel concerned for those people who are new, who are still wading through and holding on to a lot of nonsense and trusting that it's the truth.
Yes. And also, like I said, the they expand their minds and open their hearts, and the truth will flood them. It's not that hard at all. I think they live in fear too much, and if there's somebody with just a tiny bit of charisma, they're led down the wrong path. They need to have so much more self confidence and promote their own ideas and feelings and thoughts, and quit listening to, as you call it, the bullshit. Because you can definitely feel the difference.
Yeah. And I guess on our journey to find and discover who we are, to be able to learn how to love ourselves, respect ourselves, we have also collected a whole lot of other nonsense that we have when we were not able to distinguish and discern from the truth into our own belief systems. And now it's time, as we are these bigger light beings who do have intuition now, who do love ourselves, to reflect on all of the information that we have gained spiritually along our path and journey, and see what have we misassumed as being factual and the truth, and just clean house and make sure that all of our spiritual belief systems are valid, as we now know and see things for ourselves and know the difference between hogwash and valid truth.
That was a great way to say that. I appreciate it. It's great advice, and people need to follow it and investigate, do their own homework. Quit cheating off somebody else's paper.
Because the answers are all wrong.
Right.
You know the truth, yes, absolutely, and your team is guiding you to get the A star, A plus, gold star level status. And yeah, okay, thank you so much. My vent and rant is over. Sorry for all the swears, and I really appreciate all the information you've given us today. Is there any final messages before I stop?
Love to everyone. I know we shared a lot today. I'm going to let the vessel go. She is getting quite thirsty.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for letting us have the vehicle for so long. Beautiful specimen. Okay. Thank you so much.